Hey there everybody, Mazrock here, and today we gotta talk tank nerfs. I woke up in Canada, as I normally do. There's a fresh coat of snow and ice on the ground, and hell has frozen over, and we've got tank nerfs. I'm just overreacting a little bit. It's fine. They're really not that bad, but I do want to go over and talk about implications and all that fun stuff. Before we do get into it, though, please do like, comment, subscribe. We are smashing that 6K goal for the end of the year. We have 21 days left, and you guys are absolutely wrecking it. Thank you so much. There's a Patreon link down below if you wish to support me directly. Lots of great goodies there. There is t-shirts for sale. T-shirts, hoodies, long sleeves, boom, 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 boom. You can grab those at the Teespring link down below. Then there is my Discord if you want to join a wonderful community full of great people. There's that, and Twitch. Come see me on stream, because right now we're December 10th, and there's some mounts and battle pets to be had just for watching World of Warcraft streamers. So we're going to go right into the kind of controversial bit before we get into what the actual nerfs are. First, so Blizzard put out a blue post, and they put out a blue post about tank survivability. So let's read this. We've been taking a long look at tank survivability as we prepare for the beginning of Dragonflight Season 1. Right off the bat, this means that this is a long look, does not mean how tanks have been performing in Mythic Zero. This is obviously throughout beta and everything like that. People have commented and said, like, you can't really nerf a spec or a role due to how they're performing in M0s on the first week of launch, which is true, but we were basically unkillable in beta as well. So it's this is definitely a little bit more of an in-depth thing, but we'll get into that a little bit later. In general, we found that the new talent trees have introduced a lot of power across all classes and specs. Absolutely 100% true. Talents that were once exclusive through systems like Talent Rows, Legendaries, Covenants can now be equipped at the same time. Very true. This is especially true with Prot Warrior getting access to like full rows all at once, Prot Paladin as well, being able to get Final Stand and Righteous Protector, and then adding Gift of the Golden Valkyr on that. There's tons of stuff for all of them there. So very true. Through our recent testing, we've determined that the damage done to tanks needs to be increased. Whatever. While we're thrilled that players are enjoying playing tanks in Dragonflight, we want the role to be healthy. It finally is. There are some negative effects that can come from tanks being too strong that we want to avoid. Now, this here, the tank in me wants to say screw you, but also, yeah, you can't really deny that. Like, for a state of the game, true. We want healers to play a key role in keeping tanks alive. This is where it gets controversial. Number one, there's no healer I have ever met in a keystone above a 15 or 20 that says, hey man, I'm so happy that I get to actually heal you. That's the opposite of what I've ever met anybody wants, and anyone that I've ever met, any healer I've ever met that says, man, I barely, complains, hey man, I barely ever have to heal you, is usually somebody in a 10 to 15 that when you say, hey, well, you have nothing to do, or nothing to heal, you can hit DPS buttons. Healers don't DPS, man. Healers don't DPS, not my role. I feel like those are the people that complain that they don't have to heal the tanks, and those people can, hot take here, get fucked. Don't care. I'm sorry. I don't care. I've never met a healer that that actively wants to keep a tank alive. That seems like the opposite direction of where healers like to be. And tanks shouldn't be able to easily solo large portions of encounters after the rest of their group have died. That's the funnest part about being a tank. That's literally the best part. That's literally the best part. I don't know what to do or say here. Because, like, the amount of times that I have had to solo down as a tank the last boss in Grimrail Depot is actually pretty astounding, and I can't count them on just my hands. Because people die, and the tank's just like, la-di-da-da-da, yeah, I'll finish this off. We got 7 minutes left on the timer, I'll do it in 4. We're good, let's go. Let's just go. Like, that's the funnest part. And on top of that, there is one serious fact that's counteracting this. We want healers to play a key role in keeping tanks alive, and tanks shouldn't be able to easily solo large portions of encounters after the rest of the group have died. You know Blood Death Knight exists, right? Like, are you aware that Blood Death Knight just is? Like, I got nothing. That's it. Blood Death Knight exists. Literally counterpoint. Okay, let's move on. We're adjusting the damage reduction on passives of the tanks, effectively increasing the damage tanks take by 10%, mostly, which tanks still feel... we think tanks will still feel powerful after this change, and will result in a more balanced gameplay experience for all players. I understand where they're going with this. I do. I don't agree with it. If you've ever tanked Season 1 of Shadowlands, where we just toppled over, let tanks have a decent Season 1 of Dragonflight, please, because we deserve it. So, the actual nerfs and what's happening here. So, for blood fortification, oh my god. Blood fortification no longer reduces the damage taken by 10%. Demonic Wards, which is the Vengeance Demon Hunter passive, reduces... they've reduced it from 20% damage reduction to 10%. Druid's Ursine Adept, again 10% damage reduction. Brewmaster, which this one's going to sting a little bit. I actually feel Brewmaster could have probably been exempt from this and would have actually brought everything more in line. They did just get a stamina buff, which I think is kind of a buff nerf. A little while back, like last week, on Reset, and now they're getting this. I feel like this actually kind of puts Brewmaster a little bit more behind the other tanks, and right now, like, balance for the tanks is insanely good. Like, they're all pretty much on an equal field. You know, there's obviously some cases where one is above the other, but as a whole, like, tank balance is really good right now outside of Brewmaster. I feel Brewmaster could have been exempt from this. I honestly do. Aegis of Light no longer reduces damage taken by 10%. Now, here we get to Prot Warrior. So, Prot Warrior is a little bit different, because Vanguard was only a 5% DR. So, to accommodate the other 10%, they went after Defensive Stance. So, Defensive Stance is now 15% instead of 20%, where you're in there in that stance. But right now, for most Prot Warriors, you're kind of sitting in Battle Stance most of the time. I've hit Defensive Stance once in Dragonflight so far. Now, I know keys aren't up yet, but and there is going to be a key level that's going to happen where Defensive Stance is going to be the default, where you stance into Battle Stance for more damage, then you go back to kind of living in Defensive Stance full time. Right now, it's pretty much Battle Stance all the way, and you stance when you need a defensive, which happens very rarely. So, Warrior is actually gaining quite a bit. Is gaining the most from this nerf, because this is a flat 5% to them mostly, where everyone's getting 10. So I'm completely okay with this. I mean, Proud Warrior man here. I'm okay with this. Let's go. Now, this means I think this just hurt Brewmaster the most. I don't necessarily like this change. I feel that they could have done some other stuff, but Mythic Plus gets released in a couple of days. You gotta do something, or they want to do something. I don't say... It's not that they gotta, they want to. But, I mean, tanks are in such a great position right now that... I don't know. This kind of feels like a nerf to the role that isn't quite necessary. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear it. Was it necessary? I understand in some cases it was pretty egregious. I was pulling pretty stupid in my Mythic Pluses, in my Mythic Zeros, or like I was pulling like literally trash from one boss all the way to the next boss and literally not having a problem living. So I guess it's probably a little egregious. I can understand that. But kind of is what it is. Now, Vengeance Demon Hunter did get a little bit more nerfs. This is actually gonna... It's small, but it is apparent. The Hunt now heals for 10 to 20 as Havoc Vengeance of the damage dealt to the marked target for 20 seconds. It was 25-30. So it was... it was 25-50. Now it's 10-20. That is a big heal nerf to Vengeance on the Hunt, but also Charred Warblades now heals for 3% of fire damage dealt, was 5%. This is actually kind of not great. And they also fixed an issue which unintentionally permitted Fodder to the Flames effect, heal effect to crit, which is minor anyway, but whatever. This one here, this is actually the one to look at. I know it's only a like small 5 to 3%, but the amount of healing this actually did was pretty significant, and this is going to hurt Vengeance quite a bit, I think. Aside from that, there's only it's all DPS here, which I'm not going to be getting into today. But Vengeance got hit by these. All tanks got hit, and I feel Brewmaster got hit the hardest, and Prot Warrior got hit the least. I don't know. What do you guys think? I did not think this was going to be a 10-minute video, but it is. There we go. Thank you to my patrons for making videos like this happen, and happy tanking.